What we have come to understand as cinematic language, or the grammar of cinema, is a fusion of audio and visual. Like any form of communication, it has evolved over time, and contains the original values of its syntax. Despite the presence of a soundtrack during public performances, silent films did not have synchronized audio, and the images they created were ultimately divorced from the soundtrack. In The Passion of Joan of Arc, the aching injustice of Joan's position is brought into the audience's sphere by Theodor Dreyer's masterful construction of the image. We are in Joan's head, and crowded and beaten down by the supposed righteous men telling her she is a blasphemer. Dreyer understood the power of the pure image, and he knew how to design it to produce a connection with the audience. The world of Joan is almost whitewashed, with little in the way of detail, but it is still a rigorous mise-en-scène that communicates the themes of the film. Though the white indicates a spiritual purity, telling us Joan is the truly righteous human being in an environment of religious hypocrisy, the colour also suggests confinement. Barred windows and the ever-present priests, constantly crowning Joan and towering over her with righteous pomposity, feed the sense that the heavenly space is limited, that Joan is a prisoner of her beliefs. The props are economical, designed to subjugate Joan and break her will. Instruments of torture, manacles, hard-looking beds, and despite white's inherent association with purity, it conveys an ascetic hardship also. This is cinema talking to us in poetic, rhapsodic terms, and it is a language developed from the intimate relationship between the image and the viewer, by way of a genius storyteller. Ukrainian filmmaker Alexander Dozhenko conveyed a different sense of oppression in the image, submerging whites in greys and blacks to represent the deadening inhumanity of war. We almost choke on the dust and destruction. Faces are left in the ground smiling, but without a living soul behind them. Dozhenko and Dreyer were both absorbed solely by the image. Dreyer showed the clean becoming infected by the spiritually corrupt, while Dozhenko showed the aftermath of this decay. Elim Klimov's inexorable imagery in Come and See, just as with many other filmmakers in the decades to come, was born out of silent film's early lessons. The use of sound in Come and See is remarkable in its ability to overwhelm our empathy and our sense of horror at the loss of innocence in war and the destruction, like in Arsenal, of the pure and noble spirit. But while sound speaks eloquently on the subject in Klimov's film, the image has already been sculpted by the themes in Arsenal. Klimov appears to have seen the emptiness behind the soldier's smile, much as Lars von Trier caught the rapture of Maria Falconetti's Joan in the face of Emily Watson in the hymnal Breaking the Waves. A chamber piece in many regards, Breaking the Waves brought the oppression of a pure and noble spirit, albeit a little dirtied by life's hard knocks, to the sound era by drawing inspiration from Dreyer's formalism. Perhaps, though, to understand the visceral power of the language silent film created, we can look at how the image can be simply exhilarating in its pure form. Silent film is more than historical study. It's entertainment we can still enjoy today. The energy of Abel Gance's direction in Napoleon carries the audience on horse rides and through battles and romantic drama. With its remarkable cinematography, astonishing battles mired in mud and fury, and intricate character study of a great mind making its impact on history, Napoleon remains a spectacle to be enjoyed for its storytelling skill as it is for its technical innovations. Likewise, the famous Odessa Steppe sequence in Sergei Eisenstein's battleship Potemkin is thrilling, terrifying, upsetting in its brutality. The camera is close, too close. We share an intimacy with the crowd who are being massacred. We are being crushed below boot heels, and we are watching our child tumble down the steps in their pram. Our hearts are broken as our minds cry out. These images are playing without sound. They are speaking to us without sound. We are engrossed, enthralled, repulsed, horrified, stimulated. Napoleon and Battleship Potemkin involve us in their stories, even though these films were at the inception of a new art form. To go back to the beginning of cinematic language is to reconnect with what makes films so urgent. This is where the modern greats originated from. This is where we, consciously or not, started to fall in love with impossible dreams, exciting new worlds, and experience the highs and lows of adventure and excitement. Authenticity cannot be reproduced, and that is what keeps silent film relevant to our narratives today. It is what keeps our emotions persistent.